5 of the most disappointing characters from MKX and Street Fighter V. Let's start with MKX, number 5, the Revenants. Here's the problem. You take all the fan favorites, people who carried this game for so many years, and practically turn them all into jobbers. Weaken all these characters. You have a guy like Nightwolf who had such an epic role in MK9, barely now featured on screen. He was on screen for like what, 3 or 4 seconds? Kung Lao, one of Earth's best warriors. In his normal form, one of the best fighters. As a Revenant, a jobber, just straight up garbage. Sindel wiped out the entire cast, now struggling with amateurs. Put it this way, the whole entire point of the Revenants were to put other characters over. They were simply there to job as fodder, which is wrong because these guys carried the game. I know their time is up, but they didn't need to do them like that. Number 4, Kotal Kahn. Wipe it. I don't know what this guy was trying to come across as intimidating or honorable, but either way, he failed. He did not put himself over. I don't know what he was trying to do, but I was not sold. He comes across as a mediocre character to me. I mean, he's got some decent moves, and he had a decent showing, but nowhere near the level of Shao Kahn. And this is what people hyped him to be, the next Shao Kahn. And this is why he's a disappointment, because he didn't live up to expectations. Number 3, Corrupted Shinnok. And this easily goes down as one of the worst written segments in Mortal Kombat history. And once again, I get it. In order for you to put over these new characters, they need big wins. Okay? People like Darius and all these other characters from Deception, no one remembers them or gives a shit about them because they had no notable victories. In order to put a character over, they need to do something big. So having Cassie Cage defeat Corrupted Shinnok was her moment to shine so you could remember her. But it was poorly executed. First of all, the idea of Cassie Cage beating Corrupted Shinnok is stupid. You take this character out of the story mode and have Cassie versus Corrupted Shinnok and he finishes her in 2 seconds. I don't think anyone on this planet was buying the fact that Cassie Cage could defeat Corrupted Shinnok. This is what would actually happen if Cassie Cage were to face Corrupted Shinnok. Yup, the match would actually end there, but for plot, convenience, and the fact that you have to win with Cassie Cage to put her over as a new top character, she has to win. So I get that part, but here's the problem. If you are going to introduce a new threat, allow the guy to be a threat before the threat is thwarted. Does that make sense? Allow the guy to do something before he is beaten. The only thing Corrupted Shinnok will now be remembered for is to be the guy that jobbed out to Cassie Cage. That's it. And the funny thing here is, Shinnok didn't have a bad showing. Shinnok was actually a beast in the game. It took Raiden, Fujin, Sonya, and Johnny Cage to stop Shinnok the first time around. And it wasn't even Johnny Cage who captured Shinnok, it was Raiden. Go back and play the game. It was Raiden who sealed away Shinnok. And once Shinnok came back, he easily shotted Sonya, one-shotted Johnny Cage, and one-shotted Scorpion. He didn't have a bad showing. Shinnok was actually a beast. So essentially what you have here is Shinnok was a beast and Corrupted Shinnok was garbage, which makes 0 sense because the man had a power-up. They essentially created a new character and destroyed him within 5 minutes. Poorly written segment, and to be honest with you, it's not Corrupted Shinnok's fault. It's just poor writing, and that's why he's a disappointment. On to Street Fighter V, number 2, Callie Nash. And oh my goodness. Now let's get something straight. Nash is not a disappointment. as a character in terms of moves and gameplay. We're talking about his performance in the story mode. That was awful. The problem here is that everyone was fooled by the initial intro. This intro was very deceiving. You had Cammy and Chong-Li and Ken fighting Bison. Of course, that never happened. Ken and then Bison didn't even cross paths in the game. They made it seem as if Charlie and M. Bison fought to the death. So they hyped you and made you think that Charlie was going to be the one to defeat M. Bison. The story mode arrives and Charlie is a punching bag. I know all Charlie fans around the world were hugely disappointed with this bullshit. This guy takes a beating the entire game, and the one time he gets an advantage, over M. Bison, right after the fight, Bison says pathetic, meaning Bison was toying with Charlie the entire time. So Charlie did not once defeat Bison in Street Fighter V, never defeated him, and even when he sacrificed himself, Bison laughed it off and walked on. So my question to you is this: what was the friggin' purpose of bringing back Charlie for him to job out to Bison? Charlie's entire role in Street Fighter V was basically to soften up Bison for Ryu to take the win. Awful showing by Charlie in the Street Fighter V story mode. Guile's story mode was pretty pathetic as well. He barely done anything in the story. Guile is meant to be one of the guys on the front line, ready to take out M. Bison. Instead, he was fighting flunkies and barely had any victories. He saw Charlie get killed in front of his face and did nothing. If you're not gonna give the win to Charlie, give it to Guile. Those two have the most issues with M. Bison, not Ryu. Balrog, they made him look pretty weak as well. You have a heavyweight championship boxer who can kill elephants with one punch, having his blows being tanked by 100-pound teen girls. I don't know what happened there. Zangief, he had a good showing. They made Zangief look like Luke Cage up in there. Dalsim, I don't know who was writing his stuff, but they must have been watching a John Cena match before. Enough. Number one. And the number one most disappointing character from MKX and Street Fighter is Callie. Holy shit, what a flop. You were tricked. Everyone was fooled by the initial intro. The initial intro that nothing was true about. In the intro, we see Callie kicking the shit out of Ryu, absorbing the Dark Hado and becoming some monstrous badass. Essentially the new Akuma. And Akuma had left Street Fighter, so everyone was needing a new badass villain. The long-awaited Street Fighter story mode arrives, and Callie is a bust. Oh my goodness. Thing is, it didn't even start off bad. Callie appears, kicks the shit out of Ryu, so right off the bat he beats the Street Fighter former champion. Bam, good showing, good way to put over a villain. He kicked the crap out of the main guy. Ryu gets his ass beat. Here's the problem now. Dalsim jumps in, and let's just talk about this right now. Dalsim tanking a punch from Evil Ryu. What? Now who is writing this garbage? Dalsim, never anywhere near a top tier character, can no-sell a punch from Evil Ryu? Did I miss something here? Now here's the kicker. We just saw Callie kick the crap out of Ryu. Dalsim now fights Callie to a draw? What? How do we know the fight is a draw? Because both men are still in stances at the end of the fight. Callie did not defeat Dalsim. It's amazing how many people don't even know these things. You have to pay attention to detail in fighting games. Both went into a stance. Both are pushed back. This is the end of the fight and both are still willing to fight. Callie did not defeat Dhalsim. He held him off to a draw. So much for the next Akuma. Now, if you know anything about Street Fighter, you would know that Dhalsim wouldn't last a minute against Akuma. But now he's here tanking blows on evil Ryu and fighting Callie equally. Did Dhalsim turn into John Cena in Street Fighter 5? Who's writing this? The next time we see Callie, he shows up to attack Bison. And lo and behold, Callie is soundly beaten by M. Bison. Emphasizing the fact that now not only is Callie not the next Akuma, Callie is not even the main boss of the game and basically a sub-boss under Bison. After being defeated by Bison, Callie, the monstrous villain, runs away. Requirements of a villain: make them tough, make them strong, make them evil. Don't make them a friggin' coward. You have the villain running away. As if that wasn't bad enough, Callie shows up to fight Ryu for the rematch. Ryu defeats him. He tries to attack him again, gets punched in the gut, gets back up, looks at Ryu in the face, says some crap about why couldn't I absorb him, and then guess what? Runs off. A crazy, wild, fierce, maniac villain running off. And then we don't see him again in the entire story mode. What a horrible showing for a character. I really don't know who wrote this, but I don't know what you were trying to do with Callie here, but I think you really dropped the ball. There is no Akuma here. You had the chance to put this guy over as a top villain. Callie has a good look. He has this fierce, evil thing going. And the funny thing is, before the Street Fighter 5 story mode arrived, you had people making up all sorts of garbage about God Callie, Shin Callie. You had some idiots saying Callie could solo the MK universe, all sorts of crap. And the game arrives now, what? This is why you can't speculate. You need to wait for the facts, then give your opinion. Huge letdown. These are the 5 most disappointing characters from Street Fighter 5 and MKX.